How you doing? This is Gary Garver. In today's society, the majority of people are not getting enough sleep. I know I'm not. If you're like me and having problems getting a good night's rest, whether it's health or stress related, I have a solution for you. South Pacific Sleep Lab. South Pacific Sleep Lab will do an evaluation of your sleep pattern and will provide a comprehensive study so you can start getting a restful, peaceful night of sleep. They take all types of insurance, which will cover your cost of the evaluation, and they will even provide transportation to their offices at no cost to you. For more information, contact Tony at 310-999-1887. That's 310-999-1887. Tony even stays awake all night, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can sleep better and rest easy. South Pacific Sleep Lab. Start feeling better and getting a great night of sleep today.
This segment brought to you by our community sponsor, Vegan Corner of Grand Terrace. Vegan Corner with a K.com. Approximately 3 billion pizzas are sold in the U.S. each year, and Vegan Corner sells their share too. Americans eat approximately 100 acres of pizza each day, or about 350 slices per second. October is National Pizza Month. Thinking about pizza now? Tired of your same old pizza routine? Then spice up your pizza universe with a more healthy, yet flavorful pizza with Vegan Corner. Vegan Corner doesn't cut corners with their plant-based, gluten-free pizza. And if you don't believe me, ask my uncle Antonio.
Oh my, how could that taste good, you say? Lots of people say that Vegan Corner's pizza is amazing. A pizza miracle. All plant-based and gluten-free. No meat, no dairy, no problem. Lots of taste, no trans fat, low sodium, low calorie, no guilt, and lots of love combined with rich sauteed veggies on a tasty thin crust. Oh, so saucy too. It's a pizza miracle. It's vegancorner.com. That's right, a vegancorner.com. Don't forget, it's spelled with a K. Like when people ask you if you want another slice, you'll be sure to say, okay.
You can order online at vegancorner.com or call 909-370-2644. That's 909-370-2644. Vegancorner.com for Vegan Corner of Grand Terrace.
It's a pizza miracle.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the World Central Kitchen aid workers killed in Gaza by an Israeli airstrike were heroes.
For so many of us, we extend our condolences to the loved ones, to the families, the friends, the colleagues of those who lost their lives, as well as those who were injured.
While speaking from Paris today, Blinken called on Israel to carry out a swift, thorough, and impartial investigation into the killing of 7 members of the D.C.-based nonprofit. Blinken added that humanitarian workers on the Gaza Strip must be protected. Israeli leaders said the country's forces had unintentionally hit innocent people in the strike. World Central Kitchen founder, Chef Jose Andres, confirmed the deaths on social media. Many of the illegal immigrants involved in a stampede that overwhelmed Texas National Guard troops last month are being released. El Paso Judge Humberto Acosta accused the district attorney's office of not being ready to proceed with detention hearings, which happened on Easter Sunday. Some, though, remain jailed on immigration detainers. More than 200 people tore down razor wire along the Rio Grande and rushed the border fence in an attempt to claim asylum. They're facing riot charges. Some have been charged with assault. The number of job openings edged higher in February. The Labor Department says 8.8 million jobs were available on the last business day of the month. The number and rate for quits and hires in February was little changed. Job openings increased in finance and insurance, state and local government, and arts and entertainment. Country music star Zach Bryan is paying tribute to a fallen NYPD officer.
You're having an all-night revival.
Saturday night during a show at UBS Arena in Elmont, he told the crowd news about Officer Jonathan Diller's death in the line of duty was heartbreaking, while a large image of Diller appeared on a screen behind him. Bryan then brought out on stage New York Mets slugger Pete Alonso for a rendition of Bryan's song Revival. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
Was your car involved in an accident or just need help with dents? All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers. In business for over 30 years. Their highly trained staff and certified technicians and friendly staff are the best in the business and treat each car as if it was their own. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers are family owned and offer state-of-the-art equipment and tools to ensure optimum results. They use the latest technology in computerized color matching and specialize in frame repairs. With their modern laser measuring systems, they're OEM certified, and they have 4 locations to serve you. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers offer rental car assistance with free drop-off and pickup services too, and their work has a lifetime guarantee. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers are in Norco, Eastvale, Moreno Valley, and in Fontana. Call them at 1-800-61-MAGIC. That's 1-800-61-MAGIC. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers. 1-800-61-MAGIC. All Magic Paint and Auto Body says, drive carefully.
It's that time of year again. No, not the holidays. Medicare open enrollment. And if you have questions about Medicare, you should talk to the local experts. Paul Barrich and Associates. Paul and his agents are certified with plans that are accepted by most of the medical groups in our area. Call 909-793-0385. Their service is free, and after 42 years in the business, their agents are trained to help you pick the plan that's right for you.
And now, the voices of KCAA with an exciting announcement.
Want to hear NBC News or KCAA anywhere you go? Well, now there's an app for that.
KCAA is celebrating 25 years and our silver anniversary with a brand new app.
The new KCAA app is now available on your smart device, cell phone, in your car, or any place.
Just search KCAA on Google Play or in the Apple Store.
One touch and you can listen on your car radio, Bluetooth device, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay.
Catch the KCAA buzz in your earbuds or on the streets, celebrating 25 years of talk, news, and excellence with our new KCAA app.
Just do it and download it.
KCAA, celebrating 25 years.
What is your plan for your beneficiaries to manage your final expenses when you pass away? Life insurance, annuities, bank accounts, investment accounts, all require a death certificate, which takes 10 days based on the national average, which means no money is immediately available, and this causes stress and arguments. Simple solution, the beneficiary liquidity plan. Use money you already have, no need to come up with additional funds. The funds grow tax deferred and pass tax-free to your named beneficiaries. The death benefit is paid out in 24 to 48 hours without a death certificate. You heard me right. Without a death certificate. Call us at 1-800-306-5086.
Indy's Demolition in Huntington Park encourages listeners to shop small business and buy local. Buying from small businesses improves the health of our local economy and our nation. Jobs are created, homes enjoy stability, and local businesses support one another. So, before visiting the mega chains and internet super warehouses, think local and invest in your hometown. That important community reminder is from Indy's Demolition. Call 323-835-6710 for Indy's Demolition in Huntington Park.
You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using a gift balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and the NBC Sports Radio station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Spreaker, Streaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip on this show, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kanye talk at all, formerly or now. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. If you've missed any of my 1,136 shows, but who's counting, please do free subscribe on my YouTube TV channel, which now has a little membership extra. So we just launched that this week on my 622nd consecutive week on the air. And I am Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah, here to facilitate your journey into more happiness. And today's guest is a wonderful, I don't want to say blast from the past because that sounds like, we are like old, and neither one of us are old. We are hashtag ageless. And we actually met quite a number of years ago. We're both on faculty at the CEO Space largest entrepreneurial university. We were both, I'm guessing we were both solicited or pressured or invited,
brought in
by Bernie, who is on the other side loving us from there. He made his transition during COVID. But we definitely, we met back up at Secret Knock, another mutual friend of ours, Greg Reed, who does a bang up job every year with this business event of the year, according to many places, Yahoo Finance, etc. Peace in, peace out to you, Greg, and of course my favorite bump partner, Colt, his son. And you may remember her husband was a guest of mine some years ago, Aaron Young, who was also on faculty. And I spied him he looks so different now. I'm not a big fan of the hair on the face. But you can't have everything, right?
We have our preferences. Yeah, he does have that, like, the most interesting man in the world look to him right now. You got a little grizzled thing going on.
Yes, he does. And years back, he had mentioned, you got to have Michelle on. And I'm like, I got to have Michelle on. And then, I have great memory, but like really crappy recall. So it was wonderful to bump into you again at Secret Knock, and of course be able to invite you to the show. And let me just give you
my pleasure.
A bit about her. And pulling it up here. Got to get the eyes on.
I love this. My business manager, who also is my daughter, wrote this, and she sent it to me yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, do that. So, okay, I'm ready. I want to hear it. I want to hear who I am.
This is good. According to the daughter, Michelle Young is a public speaker, newspaper columnist, watercolor artist, and hedonist extraordinaire. We're getting into that. Michelle Young is someone who can command a room with her bright mind and groovy attitude, where many in the field of coaching choose to sit you down and tell you what you're doing wrong and why you need to fix it. Michelle instead takes in considerations from all angles and offers guidance on the very process of finding solutions. Please welcome to my studio, Michelle Young.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me today. And thank you so much for remembering me. And, we met many years ago, like you said, and we are not old. We are absolutely seasoned, though. And we got to own that because we've seen some things. And being on your show is genuinely an honor, because I know that you consider the people that you have on, that you're bringing quality to people, quality content, and that you are bringing solutions. And so what an honor to be invited. Thank you.
Well, the pleasure is mine. And we start every show this last over a year now with a discipline or a good life habit that I don't warn my guests about. So not to trick you or anything, but to be spontaneous. We have breakfast together. I'm glad you have your coffee with you. I have
good.
And then what we do is we take a bite out of my gratitude sandwich. So what is that? The top of the bun is 8 specific gratitudes, things outside of ourselves that we're grateful for. And then on the bottom of the bun is 8 things that we like about ourselves. So what do we appreciate? So gratitude and appreciation is the sandwich. And we go back and forth. It's one word or short. But we just go through that, start at the top of the show. So we're starting our day in the most positive way.
Oh, that's so thank you for breakfast. Okay.
You're welcome.
So thanks for breakfast. Am I starting?
You can start because you're as shy as I am. Sarcasm is
This is
another
hard
thing.
for me to reach out to others and express. God, let's see. I like to do them fresh. So this morning, I had a really fun thing. So I had the pleasure of having two of my grandkids over the weekend. My husband and I were able to celebrate with them. That was really fun. And then my daughter and her partner came, and they ended up staying one extra night. And so this morning I woke up and I've really been looking forward to my time with you. And so I just, I got on my into my day. I woke up a little earlier than I wanted, and I was getting a shower, and the day seemed normal. It was a little overcast here at the beach. And so the mood's a little bit less. And then I remembered that there was a 7-year-old little girl and a 5-year-old little boy sleeping in my dressing room. And even if I didn't get a whole day with them, I got to see them, and they are sunshine to me. So
Wow.
that's this morning what felt yummy to me.
Great. And they are how old? 5 and
5
7?
and 7. Yeah, the little girl Indigo is 7, and Forrest, the little boy, is 5. Can I tell you a quick story about their births?
Sure.
And births are never quick stories, but I will make it quick. Indigo wasn't coming, 48-hour labor, finally had a C-section. Forrest they were living with us at the time, and we lived clear out in the middle of nowhere, and his mother was not going to do the, go immediately to the hospital. She was just like, I'm going to slow my roll this time. And we had a quarter of a mile long driveway, which is where Forrest was born.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
first of all, very cool names, Forrest and Indigo. You have a very
thank you.
cool
I'll tell my daughter.
I love those names. I don't think I've ever heard them, so that's fabulous.
Oh, nice.
And I'm grateful that he came out okay in the driveway. I mean, not everybody can say that. Yeah, I was born in a driveway.
No, with there were horses that were right at the fence. The horses were like, "What's going on in the middle of the night here?" And they came over. The horses were watching the whole thing.
Oh wow! Were you freaked out?
Oh yeah. So we were driving down the driveway, and my daughter said, "I can't do this." And I'm like, and yet we are going to the hospital, and she's like, "No, stop the car." And she gets out of the car, and I've told her this before. I had this feeling that she was going to go totally feral and just like run for it and like jump the fence and go find a cave somewhere to have the baby. Fortunately, she didn't. So she's standing there, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this. So I called 911, and my daughter's fierce. She is a fierce human, and I wasn't sure how she was going to like the fact that I called 911. But the paramedics came, and she's standing there, and she's laboring like she's in the big bad labor. She's standing, holding onto the door of the van, and the guy, and these guys didn't know what they were doing. We were living out in the middle of nowhere, and the guy goes, "Ma'am." Which, my daughter really responds well to stuff like that. You can imagine, "Ma'am, if you don't do what I say, I can't help you." So the contraction releases, and she turns around and looks at him, and she goes, "I didn't call you, buddy."
Well, I can see that she definitely descended not far from the tree.
Apples not falling far from trees. It's true. I can't. Every time I want to go, you know what my kids do? My friends are like, I do know what your kids do.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah. It's it definitely. That reminds me, since we're diverging here on stories, which is usually what we do at breakfast, anyways.
You are
try to keep it short.
You're a wily gal. You're a wily gal. I like this about you.
So with my first one, Chloe, I unfortunately got involved with a natural birth group. Okay. And no drugs, no, everything.
That's what happened with my daughter's first baby.
Yeah. And so I got to the hospital and no, nothing, right?
Gonna do it the natural way. God intended this.
Yeah, natural, whatever. And it was a lot of pain. And I was at 8 centimeters without any kind of anything. And it was so painful. And I was making up new swear words that I had never heard.
I bet you were good too. I wish there'd been somebody to catch those. We need them.
Oh, it was not pretty. So
multi-languages, yeah.
Yeah. So my husband, he was my husband at the time.
Love that.
Finally after one particular, and of course, directed at him and all of that. And he was not a shouter at all, and he just goes, "Marissa, you're not getting a blank trophy if you don't take the drugs."
And to that we say, thank you, husband. Thank you.
Yeah, in that moment, I was like, okay, fine. And then that was the longest 45 minutes because you can't just say, now I want drugs. They got to get
right.
physiology, and I was on heparin at the time because I had DVT, deep vein thrombosis, blood clot several years earlier. So there was blood everywhere.
Oh,
anyways,
honey.
Then the second child, I went for the last examination, and when she checked, a lot of blood started coming up. She says, "I think you're starting labor." So her office was across the street from the hospital. I literally walked to the hospital. I came in like this and said, "Drugs now."
I know when to ask for them, and it's when I called in because I'm on the way here and get them ready. Yeah, live and learn, my friend. Right, live and learn.
Yeah.
We as women, that what the broad spectrum of what we do and what we go through, and it's different for all of us. I mean, I've had 4 children. You've had 2. Yes, is that right? Mm-hmm. And our experiences are incredibly similar because we're the same kind of mammal, and also completely unique to our biology and psychology and the circumstances. And but it's not for wusses. I don't. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. But I'll say I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a mom, not just once, but twice. And it truly is one of those, in a lifetime. And I talk to women all the time who are professional, high powered, coaching them. And they're like, I don't want to, lose anything in my career, and I'm on a good track. And it's like, there is nothing like the love or that feeling or the pull your hair out that a child can give you an opportunity to grow and thrive and love in. So if you're on the fence and you're listening right now, if you should have a child, we are voting yes. And that's part of the gratitude. Let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is, what do you like about yourself? And the reason why I do this is because I want you, before you go to bed tonight, have the bottom of the bun. And the bottom of the bun to me is my BS, my belief system is self-care, self-love, and self-soothing is the foundation for good mental health. And if you don't like yourself, you will have the propensity to walk around with little antenna going, who loves me? Who likes me? Literally, you're looking for likes on social media. And it is a completely horrific way to live, because when you go to bed, you're going to be like, oh, so-and-so said this and done me wrong, or I didn't finish this, or will not amount to anything, or all those that critic, the beach in the head, that's who takes over. And no wonder you can't sleep. So every day I want you to exercise your ability to self-approve. And I will start by saying, I like the way that I laugh. People will say, I knew you came in the room because I heard your laugh, and I laugh. Favorite sound in the world. So
this is why we vibe. Laughter is my favorite thing to do. We played a game of Scrabble yesterday here, and it was hilarious. I did not win, which is not great, but I laughed really hard, which means I actually won. So,
yeah, I call it cardio for my soul. Laughter.
Yes. I love that about you. No wonder we're on this show together, because I did not know, but laughter's so great. And it's funny because it's like the counterbalance to crying, and that expression from our eyes. Literally, there are different chemicals in cry tears than there are in like I have a little bit of cold, so I've got cold tears right now. And and they're onion tears, but cry tears and laugh tears actually have releasing chemicals in them. And so I love both because they dance right together, right? Have you ever laughed so hard that you're like, oh, I might cry now? No.
Yeah.
Come back. So, yum.
Tears are the disinfectant that keep our hearts soft.
Ooh, that's wisdom.
Thank you. And I actually did not steal that from anyone. That is one of mine. And
you made that? That's beautiful. Yes.
It came out of the time when I was in the library when the worst Orange County massacre happened, where the gunman took out 8 people here in Seal Beach. Not here. I'm in Long Beach now, but when I raised my kids in Seal Beach. But anyways, your turn. What do you like about yourself?
Okay, I gotta say it's a big brag, and I'm willing to go there. My people laugh at me a lot because I have practiced this. So I know short answers. Can I give a little background? So I was reading your book, and it talked about the voices in your head, and the voices in my head were demon beasts. They were hateful, and they said really super mean things to me, and they were absolutely awful. It was my brain, my thoughts were not a safe neighborhood for anybody. I would not invite anybody into them. So what I really like about myself, as a matter of fact, I love it about myself, is that I've worked on new voices, a new parent, a new self-soothing, like all of those things that you're talking about. I literally didn't understand what self-care meant. Like when I took a shower, and I the first thing I did when I got out was use deodorant because I took a shower for you. I don't want you to think I smell bad. And so, and when I took a shower, so many people go, oh, my best thoughts come when I'm in the shower. And I'm like, I'm not doing it right because I'm like, scrub it off, get clean, And so the thing that I absolutely love about me is I have replaced those voices. And when the old ones pop up, I'm like, that's the fun thing. It's like, oh, you don't go here. I'm really surprised to hear you in my head because you don't live in this new world that I've created where, and this is my thing, I romanticize everything. Why not? It's not like I tell people, oh, I'm so fancy and amazing and everybody loves me. But what I say is, do you know Dr. Marissa? You should. And she invited me on her show. And I feel so glamorous. And I do, by the way, because of how you are and who you are in the world. And so I love that about me, that I lay in bed at night and I'm just like everybody. I might go, oh, I should not have said that. Or, oh, I should have said this amazing wise thing that may not be wise at all. But we question. And once I start doing that, I go, no, we've already done that. And she was smiling and it felt yummy. So I'm not going to question it. So that's what I like about me.
Oh, that's beautiful. And that is why both of us are in the work that we are, is because it is all about how do we live our lives happier? How do we not lose time to activities like the stupid, sorry, I shouldn't say stupid, because my critic, I call her Rose. Guess what my mom's name is? And she really, she's a part of me. So I can't hate her and I can't try to kill her. And some coaches say kill the beach, but I'm totally no, because the flip side of the beach is protection. Like my critic when I was a kid protected me. Otherwise I'd have red burnt hands. I'd be run over by cars, all those things. So I appreciate my critic. However, I am not going to let her drive my life car.
No.
More balance-centered, Dr. Marissa, balance-centered Michelle. And thank you for mentioning the book. And thank you for swearing. She did get a signed copy from me when I was, when we met at Secret Knock again. So I appreciate that I attract love-hearted and like-minded, beautiful inside and out women into my life. And
right back at you, sis. Yeah, okay, I got another brag about that because for a long time, because of I found my childhood inhospitable. And I think that in an effort to not let go, and do you know what people did? I've looked back and I've said, you know what? I think people were acting like that because they were not getting their needs met. There were limited resources and people were scared. And so when I go back and hear those things, I go, and you know, the voices in the head, the old things, and I go, you know what? That's how it was then. Those are the things I needed to think then in order to get through that. The things, the world that I'm creating now, the one where, and I play all the time. I'm like, I pretend this is, your people are going to go, who is this woman? But I am Michelle at Play. That is my email address, and I'm Michelle at Play. That just to look at the world and go, this is fun. This is an opportunity. The time that I get to spend with you today, this is so yummy too. The time that I get to spend with you today, what can I get from it? I already got it. I'm here. I get to do this. Will things come of it? Absolutely, they will. What will those things be? Don't know. Don't care. Super interested in being here. And that's what this new life gets to be, is just going, yeah, this is a glamorous moment. We do get to do the work that we do. We do get to practice the practice of being happy. And reading the best of books. 8 Ways to Happiness is just, there's an elegance to it. You know, the rewriting, there's a lot of rewriting, you know, those things, and being able to look at difficulties, not as great, love difficulties, but okay, that happened. What do I want to do with it? And that's what I got from your book.
Oh, thank you. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio today, this is Dr. Marissa on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with me here on KCAA, NBC News, AM 1050, FM 106.5, 25 years long of the best talk in the IE. And I'm so delighted today to have with me in studio. Her name is Michelle Young, long time friend. We met many years ago in Florida, CEO of Space International, got to work side by side at that once a year or twice a year convention in Florida. And just delighted to have her here in studio today. We don't really have a topic.
My pleasure.
Necessarily, but we've just finished breakfast. It took us a little bit longer, but I'm not.
We're good at breakfast.
We're both so shy. I have nothing to say. Sarcasm is another.
Well, it's difficult for us to want to talk. We may be cut from the same cloth.
Thanks for joining us for breakfast. I promise you that if you repeat this good life habit and this hashtag Blissapline for 28 consecutive days, you will sandwich your day in the most positive way. And I would like to welcome all of you who are streaming in. I do see the eyeballs. We do have some in the Cashew Gallery today. We do have Sci-Fi Mombi, and good morning at Michelle Pearson Young. I guess she looked you up. And, yeah, that's kind of cool. Sci-Fi is the captain of my Cashew Gallery today, and she's
hey, Sci-Fi.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, if you're driving right now, listening through your car radio, please do not try to put anything in the chat. Instead, wait till you land and then join in on the conversation. So I am going to now ask why you are happy to be called a hedonist. And the reason why, that's in your bio that your daughter wrote, okay? But
indeed.
I love the fact that that word is there, because like selfishness, which I covered on Monday on Mental Health Matters Mondays, it's a word that traditionally strikes up guilt, shame, and you shouldn't do that, right? And yet being selfish, I believe, is one of those keys to good mental health. So hedonism, I think, is a cousin, or on the flip side, has been misinterpreted or shamed or blamed or seen by religion, which is one of those happiness robbers that I think we've allowed to have in our society. I'm allergic to religion, by the way, but I am a very spiritual.
I read it in the book. I got you, girl. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, because I know you've also gone through some learning and growing and expanding, as we all have the choice. I almost used the should word.
We all get to. We all get to change.
Right. And so Michelle at Play is a little different than the Michelle that I met in Florida at CEO. so that aspect of you, tell me what happened.
Okay, we got into the meat, and I don't think I've ever told this story, in such a public way. So I built my life in a religion, a very, very conservative religion, because what was going on at my house didn't feel very good. So what they were selling at church, I was like, oh yeah, I want that. I'll have some of that because, it feels yummy. It looks good. I'd love to have that, that idealistic look. And so I lived my life in this super narrow lane where there did exist right and wrong and good and bad and black and white and who's right. And what happened was, and I won't go down that rabbit trail, but I did, and I'll get on my angry, bitter face, but I was right. I did everything right. And then I started looking at my life and things didn't go the way I thought it would. And I was like, okay, I'm literally doing what they all said to do. And I am dying inside. I'm dying inside. And I genuinely thought it was a me problem. I'm not humble enough. My problems aren't getting solved because I don't pray well enough, as opposed to asking logical questions around the circumstances and deciding about some movements that I could do, and then checking in with the infinite and feeling if that was the right move or if I should wait. So basically what you've said is the way, and I try really hard not to, because I also get alert, like somebody goes, go to church, and I go, no, you, right? So I totally understand. So I try to get my neutrality on by saying what I did with religion, what I did in my own head was enslavement. And so I'll skip a whole bunch of the story and go to, I was studying psychology. And there is a gorgeous podcast called The Story of Psychology. And in it, it just basically says, this is the history of how we got here. And the science is actually, psychology is only 150 years old. So if you think about that, we're not up to date on stuff. This is a very, very new science. And so in the story of psychology, of course, part of the story of psychology is philosophy. And in philosophy, I'm getting to hedonism, I promise. I'll make it a short trip. In philosophy, there are always opposing viewpoints. So if in this particular form of philosophy, there's hedonism, and then there's cynicism. And I'm going to describe them to you. Hedonism, so this is the philosophy which has been made the enemy, right? Hedonism, she's a hedonist, right? And I'm like, yeah, I am. So hedonism is the belief that the world is perfect as it was made, and it was made for me, and that bliss and perfection is found here as I look for it. And everything on my path is for me and for my use. And by so connecting with my world, I'm connecting with the infinite or a higher power. Cynicism, on the other hand, is the belief that the world is inherently broken. And the only way that I can find happiness possibly is by aligning myself with a God I will never meet in this life. And then when I'm dead, I get to be happy. That is cynicism, which is literally the opposite. Like a lot of religions will tell us cynicism is going, oh, the world is so ugly. And it's like, well, yes. And that's what you're saying. You're saying that people are ugly and the world is ugly and the world's not perfect and that God doesn't like us. And it's like, well, that's pretty cynical if you think about it. But that this world, there's everything here that we love and for our good, that belief alone. And this is when I talked earlier about romanticizing life, that belief alone, that the world is built for my pleasure and anything that I want is here for me to find, that belief alone will absolutely change the trajectory of my life. So that is why I am an unapologetic hedon. I would also like to say that I have been happily, joyfully, monogamously married for over 37 years that I don't like lying because I feel gross inside when if I do it, and if somebody does it to me, I feel super squidgy. I think stealing is yucky. I think people should have good pay. I mean all of those things. And also I think that it's here for us if we're ready for it.
Dang, I love that definition of hedonism. I am definitely a hedonist. That
it is ours for the snacking.
And it reminds me, you know, I still teach Tai Chi, the balanced Tai Chi Gong, and the last program is called acceptance. And when I'm doing acceptance, the corresponding concept is Einstein says the most important question that a human being has to answer is the universe friendly or not? I'm getting chills. If you say it is not friendly, which is cynicism, what you just said, you know, every life sucks, everybody's out to get me, the world is not a friendly place.
The world's broken, everything's bad.
Your lifetime holding your breath, blocking so that people don't get close enough to be able to hurt you, steal from you, do wrong to you. And what a horrible way to live. But if you choose instead to believe, to choose to believe that the world is a friendly place, that hedonism, that this world is for you, it ties into the selfishness perfectly. Thank you very much. It is here for us to get from it pleasure with a capital P, not the, you know, I did go to Club Hedonism after my grad school as a present.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
They were all over the place. That was
what a fabulous social experiment, though. Yeah, that's not what we're doing.
That's not hedonism. That is, well, okay, it is one tiny, tiny, tiny little part of hedonism. So get your butt up to 88,000 foot and look at this concept that Michelle is educating us on, and how beautiful that if you should choose to decide that you are a precious child of a friendly universe, that the world is a great place for, it's a playground. Michelle, I play. Then life, you can breathe. You can take deep breaths. You're not afraid to let people in your life. If they hurt you, oh well, they're doing the best they can with the time they have and the resources they have. And, you know, God bless them. So you have that choice every single forking day. Do I want to choose hedonism or cynicism? Right?
Yes.
Every day, every moment. It's your choice. And I just, you know what? You do the best that you can. But I choose. People ask me all the time, why are you so positive? Why, you know, how do you sustain living on this magic carpet and pink cloud 88% of the time? And frankly, my dear, it just freaking feels better, right? It just feels better. If I'm pissed off, I don't feel good. You were saying lying, stealing, you know, a cynicism, worst case.
Yeah, that's not going to get you what you want. Those are the temporary hits. I mean, and seriously, people lie and they're getting a hit out of it. People do things for a reason. People steal and they're getting a hit. There's a reason that they do it. But that's not hedonism. That's actually, there's an emptiness and I need to fill it with like not the truth. What I am is unacceptable. And so that true hedonism is an invitation to find the magic. And if I may, further on that, and it goes back to selfishness, like you said. Selfishness, in my opinion, is pagan. The word pagan was a religion, and then it was used as a swear or a slur. But all it was a religion. So whenever we use the word pagan, we go, oh, pagans. It's like saying, oh, libtards or MAGA, and just trying to make it bad words, trying to throw things. And I'm not going on either side of the team. I'm simply saying when we make words bad. So one of the words that was made bad was pagan. One of the words was made bad was hedon. And another word that was made bad was selfish. So it's really interesting because it's a half truth. Like, I'm going to take all this stuff for me and I'm trying to get stuff from you. Everybody knows that feels yucky. But if you think about the half truth, because you go, oh, selfishness is bad, and everybody goes, oh yeah, it is. Selfishness is bad. I know when people try to take stuff from me, but it's not the full story. Self-care, like you said, selfish is the ugly name that was given to, hey, get yourself right, like you said, get centered so that you know the truth for you. Get centered and think about how powerful that is to say, I'm centered because of and going back to religion, love thy neighbor as thyself. And what we do not pay attention to is how are you going to know how to love your neighbor if you are completely detached from how to love yourself? That it's a half truth.
Yep. Right on. Bingo, bullseye. It is absolutely, especially for women of color.
I can't even imagine this wild ride hasn't been that great, and then adding in any other complications, girl, you're a baddie.
Yeah. Well, it's a cultural norm to, as an Asian woman, to serve. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do, right?
Oh my gosh, we can see it in iconography all the time. I mean, it's really like, if there's art about you, you're doing something for somebody else.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I was very young. I was probably like 6 years old. My father was a professor at University of Waterloo, chemical engineer. He would have interns and grad students in his laboratory, and then, you know, over the holidays, they're from Japan or China, wherever they're from, India, those 3 countries, right? They would come and have dinner, and literally shocked me to see the Japanese woman kneel down, get slippers to put in front of her husband so he could take his shoes off without bending over. Hello. The Indian wife.
Which sounds great if you're into it, and if you want to do it, and if somebody else is taking care of your shoes and you've got all of your needs met behind the scenes, more power to you. Great.
Yeah. But that expectation that I am subservient or less than, and it is my job to serve, is something, you know, that's why I'm going to China. You know, this book is geared towards Chinese women who grew up like I did, with well-meaning moms who use negative motivation to say you're fat, you're ugly, in order for us to not be fat and ugly. But the damage from the impact of that, you know, when I spoke at the embassy in Beijing before, when COVID interrupted us, there was not a dry eye in there, because they got it that I got what the pain was, that we all need to just exercise and use it to chisel us and then let it go. Otherwise, we're going to carry that pain of self unworthiness and self shame for the rest of our lives. And darling, we don't have time for that. No one has time. No one has time for that.
May I thank you? I see you at events. We were both at the we both got awards. Hold on, mine's right there. There. We go to a lot of events, and we go to a lot of women's events. But what I want to thank you for, Dr. Marissa, is that some people say that difficulty makes you into who you are. And I don't like that. I think there are a lot of great people who haven't had ugly difficulties. And further, I don't like to give difficulties more credit than they deserve. What I genuinely believe is that difficulties reveal who we are. So what I wanted to say was thank you to you, because what you've done is you've taken your life package, these ingredients that have come to you, some of which you've chosen, some of which just happened, and you've said, hey, you know what if we could do life better? What if I can bring about a message that is about appreciating women, and based on the way that I've heard you do it, it's not appreciating men. As a matter of fact, when we appreciate women, we give men the opportunity to grow and to become that yummy, nurturing, like you were talking about. If you want to have a baby and you're worried about it, have one. do have a baby because it's, yes, it ruins everything and it makes everything great. It's something that we work against. Like you said, we've got, it makes it hard. I'm not my best person. I'm sleep deprived. I don't feel great, but I am going to be my best person because there's a human that will die if I don't. And that's that thing to work against that creates us. And it's the same thing for men. We've not given them the opportunity to bow down and put our slippers on. And what an honor it is. The biblical representation of Mary washing, or was it Martha washing Jesus' feet? That biblical representation, we go, oh, look at Mary and Martha, they're amazing. Hey, let's give some other people the opportunity to be amazing like that. Let's let them feel the joy and the growth, and then let the women who are genuinely tired a lot of the time sit down and take a breath and appreciate the men on all their manliness. It's yummy. And I actually went on a tangent that was to say, thank you, Dr. Marissa, for bringing it up, for writing it in the book, for speaking out against the evil that is selfishness and speaking for self-care, man. Take care of you. Choose you. Thank you for bringing that message. For how many exact shows have you done?
1,130. Today is 1,137. So we're not quite done 1,137, but we're close. And if you've just tuned in,
thank you times
and
that.
you're wondering what's going on in studio today, this is Take My Advice. I'm not using a gift balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my show Central that houses all of those numbers. And it is my YouTube TV channel, which I'm so glad is getting more popular around just using YouTube as a central place with which people can connect. And certainly I've been streaming on Facebook and LinkedIn, but would love to have you free subscribe. And then if you'd like to support my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years, do $2.99 a month will get you a session after Monday's show every week to do a Q&A, to talk about whatever you'd like. So that's some free life balance coaching, as well as my $4.99, which gives you a choice of something from my Balance Marketplace for free, whether it's an audiobook version of the book that Michelle's been talking about, #1 best-selling on Amazon and national bestseller as well. Just got back from Australia, sold out there. I'm so grateful that that book is doing well. And it is on its way to China in June. We're looking for a Chinese publisher at the Beijing Book Fair. So whichever way, free or otherwise, I am so delighted that you're here, because not only do you get to listen to me, who's so shy, I have my fellow shy today, my guest in studio. Her name is Michelle Pearson Young, and she also is a coach, a life balance coach, but so much more. Watercolor artist. When did that happen?
So I have to admit, it's funny. That's correct, because if you look right there, that's actually an oil painting right there. So, but I love the question because of this. So I told you that I like did my life right. I worked so hard, I volunteered, blah, blah, blah. I did whatever you think was right, do all those things, and then put them on steroids. So, again, it's a personality thing. We're intense people. So I did,
Whoa.
yeah. We're flavorful. I had done everything right, and I had life just coming at me and coming at me and coming at me, and things were settling down a little bit. We all know those moments where like, please, can this be it? And I said, I don't want to work another day of my life. And I actually had 2 email addresses, which were MMP Young, and they were boring and businessy, and that's what I'd been using them for. And I wanted a new email that this is true, that no attorneys, with the exception of my niece and her husband, have the email address to. And it's just been too much. And so I went to get MMP Young at Gmail, because it was hip and young then. And they didn't have MMP Young, and I'm like, who stole that one? Because it's not great in and of itself. And of course, it wasn't stealing. But I thought, okay, well, if I can't be MMP Young, who do I want to be? And that was my email address, Michelle@play. I didn't want to work another day of my life. And further, and this was in my 40s, I'd always wanted to be an artist, and I had never dared even anything about it. I'd always, we get the voices in our head. That's not for us. I have too much work to do. I have to do things for everybody else, blah, blah, blah. And I just decided that I was going to be an artist, and it was really fun. And I've heard you, I've seen your interviews and heard you before. I decided that I wanted to take a watercolor class. So I started looking, but my life, I was still busy with 4 kids at home. We lived out in the country, all the things. It just wasn't convenient. And, but I continued to search, and I thought if I could just get something close to my house, not super expensive, just like something easy. And boom, I was Googling. I decided what I wanted. And what I found was an elegant artist, very well known in the area. And it was part of her giving back. It was at a church, and she'd do a little devotional at the first. And it was really nice because people who are allergic to religion, her devotional was lovely. It was about yummy things. And then she said something that was really powerful. She had everybody in the class, and it was just beginners. She said, walk around to all these tables that were covered with paper and make a mark on every single, make your mark. This is your mark. And what she did ultimately, so the covers were, the tables were just covered with all of these seemingly random marks, but they made these gorgeous artworks. And she said, people that say they're not creative don't understand that they were made, they were created. And if they're created in the image, they are also by definition creators. You're creating your life every day. You are the artist. This life is your magnum opus. And that's when I decided, well, from now on, I'm going to, and I did right then, first art class ever, I started telling people I'm an artist. They'd say, what do you do? And I'd say, oh, I'm an executive coach and I'm an artist. And the beautiful thing is I could probably have at my hand some of my original art, which does not look great, but that's how it works. That is how it works. It doesn't look great at first.
And when people talk about artistry and they're an artist, I say the same thing. Everybody is an artist. Every single person on the planet is also creative. Every single person is creative. It expresses differently. And I'm not knocking dancers or actors or musicians. I think it's a beautiful expression of creativity the way they do, and they have made that into their way of creating money energy, and it's beautiful, and they're good at it, and I'm not taking away from that at all. But the fact that people will say I'm not creative is such a you just killed your little creative person inside of you.
It's that little critic. Yeah, it's that little critic goes, oh, I don't get to create. And it's like, yeah, you can. But you like to play with model cars. That's creative. Let your kid create.
I had that same moment. And I'm not going to say age because I'm #ageless, but I love my work. I have 8 jobs. I love every single, the way that I get to express it, whether it's through writing or coaching or speaking or consulting, whatever it is, I love it. However, about 5 years ago, I said, what do I do somebody said, what do you do for fun? I said, work. And they're like, no. What do you do? Oh, I race sailboats once a week. And yes, that's great. But what do I do for fun? Because that's also a competition, right? And we're
absolutely. Oh, I love that about you.
Yeah, it's not whether you win or lose, it's whether I win or lose. So I went, what do I like to do? And I love playing games. I love board games. I love fun. And so I've been now for the last 5 years making sure once a week I play a game. And I'll tell you that has been one of the most wonderful ways in which I anchor the creative fun side of me that was only geared into work. And so now I literally I do things that have, for like $20, I'm trying to win $20 in 6 hours, which sounds stupid, right? But I have so much fun trying to win that $20.
Yes,
right?
you do.
Playing
And
a game.
it's invaluable. I mean, the $20 is beside the fact. The time that you spend feeling yummy, getting those dopamine hits, giving into that playfulness, what's really beautiful is that's honestly where the money is. I mean, it's not in the game, it's giving your kid free form to go, you know, when that kid is all yummy feeling, and then you go, we need to go back to work, and the kid goes, hey, I have this really creative idea that might make you millions of dollars. Here it is. Can we play again tomorrow? You know, and do
Exactly.
it. Do what feels good.
Yeah. And we are being told, I only have 3 minutes left. So what a final phrase from you, Michelle? How do people find you?
You can find me at Michelle at Play on Instagram, Michelle Pearson Young on Facebook. You can find me. I'm building things right now, so email super easy. Michelle at Play at Gmail. That's ATPLAY. And you know, find me or find me if you want to. It's been a real pleasure. And the final sentence I think I would love to say, if I left one sentence, I would say, oh, trust you. You know what you're doing.
Yeah, that was the original topic that we really didn't get through, which is
didn't
being self-development coached. I love the way that your daughter described that. We're told, I am also allergic to be told what I'm doing wrong. I hate it when people say you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, or you need to spend this amount of money to fix this thing behind your website, and you need SEO, and you need, and it's like, talk to the hand. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not doing everything perfect, but 88% of the time, obviously something's working if I get recognized halfway around the world without doing all these things that you're telling me to do. So I'm not saying you shouldn't seek advice or get counsel at all, but
other perspectives.
Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. That's what Michelle's saying. All right. You know the drill. Oh, that's a nice heart. Wow.
Thank you.
That man, that's different.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, pointer fingers up.
And
then middle fingers